ESL One Birmingham is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, Alienware, DHL, and Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Welcome back to England and welcome back to our second city. This is ESL One Birmingham, powered by Intel. Game 2 done and dusted. We've had two fantastic starts to the day, haven't we? Really been spoiled. Can we push our luck a little bit and hope for a third consecutive great best of one? Let's hope so as we head in to Group C, where we face OpTic against Newbee. Two teams who have tasted success on the DPC Tour, of course, and in the first half of the season, Newbee looked fantastic, winning twice, in fact, with the Perfect World Masters and ESL One Genting just 2 ESL Ones ago. Likewise, OpTic have had a very good second half of the season. They've also picked up a win at Star Ladder. However, both need the points here. Newbee are inside the top 8, OpTic aren't. So both for different reasons, they need to win their opening game to make sure they set themselves up for success as they head into the deeper parts of ESL One Birmingham. Very quick update before we move into this match as well from the other match. Liquid have gone down to Pain Gaming. Congratulations to the boys from Brazil. They have been improving every single time they've come to these events. They had a 1-18 record just a couple of weeks ago and now have started making their way outside of the group stages. And this one is the biggest scalp of all. It was a very, very big victory for them against Team Liquid over on the other stream. As I said, we're going to turn our attention now to OpTic versus Newbee, and we've got Nahaz and Capitalist alongside us. Just a quick reflection on the fact that Pain have they keep making strides. Little by little.
That addition of Weeha was a huge injection to that team, and HFN, to me, over the last year, HFN has made himself into one of the most technically sound carry players we have right now.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Cap, and I love the fact that they're improving every single time. They might not be winning tournaments, but they're showing us that this passion that South America has got is going to pay off eventually as they learn more and more and they get better and better.
Yeah, again, I every single time we talk about Pain, at least once per tournament, I want to remind people that this is led by a captain who has been playing Dota about as long as I have. So we're talking like 15 years. Yeah. He's been playing scrimming actively since all the way back in Dota 1. We met each other in G Arena. We scrimmed against each other back then. Dude is still at it. And he's succeeding. Like he went like 12 years without like a drop of success. Yep. And then he's finally making his break now. And he's being able to regularly attend LAN tournaments. Now he just took down Liquid. The guy is just like, he's a really great guy. Yep. He's really nice if you meet him. And he takes a lot of responsibility for that team, right? He felt really bad about all the losses that they had at these various tournaments, and they shouldn't, right? They shouldn't feel bad. Of course,
in Counter-Strike. He reminds me of the same kind of leader, the kind of guy that's dragging his scene from South America, from Brazil, all the way to the top.
Yeah.
By whatever means necessary, but whether it means bringing in the Romanian and playing with them, or moving to America if that's what they do next, whatever it takes, basically. He's dragging the entire scene along with him as well. I think it's fantastic. We need to move on. We'll talk about Newbee, Alan. First half of the season, you sort of think this is the team that can break that top 3 that we had at the original point. But I think halfway through the season, it was Virtus Pro, it was Secret, and it was Liquid, and no one else was pretty much touching those 3. Didn't look at anyone else would win a major until Newbee broke that at ESL One Genting, funnily enough, 2 ESL Ones ago. And when they beat Liquid, it was kind of like a statement. It was like, Chinese New Year, sure. Normally we suck around Chinese New Year, but not this year, boys. We're back and we're good and we're better than ever. And here's a marker in the sand. And we were talking about Newbee joining that top 4.
Sure.
Since then, where have they been?
Well, Newbee, I mean, their issues are out there for all to see, and they're really 2 issues that go all the way back to what we were talking about at Hamburg, and that's that Newbee gets into this trap in their drafts where they show a lot of preference for team fights over stable lanes, and that is not the way Dota is played right now. And then number 2, Newbee is a vastly different team depending on whether Kaka is fully engaged in the game. And at least if you go back a few months, most of his games that were really, really good, he was as a roamer. Roaming is awful right now. Static 2-1-2, almost a 60% win rate over the last several patches. Roaming is down under 40.
Yeah, I would have to agree that Newbee has definitely remained kind of the same team, but there are hopes for them, right?
Yeah.
Recently at MDL, they had a pretty good showing. I didn't really expect them to be able to take down, who did they run into? They ran into LGD.
They beat OG and they beat Vici in their 4 straight wins in the playoff phase, which was, it was so encouraging, but then they go right back to their old ways against LGD. They pick they open with 2 straight Sand King Disruptor and Naga Jakiro drafts, the team fight style drafts.
It's like they ran into like an enemy that they know is just going to be really powerful, and it's LGD, right? Like they're one of the best teams in the world right now, and they run into them and they just go into this block where they're just like, oh God, we're facing against LGD, let's do what we used to do that was successful, rather than what they had been doing at MDL, which felt like they were innovating.
Yeah. Their opponents in this one are a very interesting team, Alan, OpTic game.
Yeah.
I followed them with great interest since the start of the year in this kind of formation of these 5 players. They go to a legendary team name like OpTic, who've tasted success in all sorts of other areas, particularly obviously in the past in Call of Duty and Gears of War. A legendary team name. And then you see them pick up these players that, you know, PPD, for instance, XTI winner, fantastic. And then young, talented, fresh, mildly arrogant kind of players that are a little bit obnoxious to some of the fans. And you see them gel together and you think, this team has some great potential. And they've won a tournament together now on the DPC. Is it enough? Have they come too late to the party to get themselves a direct invite to the international?
I mean, honestly, when you look at the point values with these majors, I mean, OpTic has a chance here. They've got a chance at the super major. So, you know, any team can play themselves into the picture right now. Yeah. But OpTic, it's interesting that you mention all the names, Paul, because to me, the person that makes OpTic so dangerous right now is probably the least known player, and that's 33. He is extremely versatile. 29 different heroes played since March 1st. That's second only to Kuro, who has 30. If you look at their draftings, the 3 wins that they showed against VGJ Thunder at Starladder, they're able to pick these traditional CCNC heroes like the Razor, the Dragon Knight, the Death Prophet early in the drafts, and they can threaten, they can switch later on in the drafts, switch to a Broodmother or a Visage mid, because 33 will play those heroes, or he can play the standard Chalice-style sacrificial offlane. It's such a weapon in the draft.
And it's funny, when they first picked up 33, there was a lot of speculation about who OpTic was going to go for as their replacement 5th, and to have it turn out to be 33, there was a lot of names in the hat.
Universe
people
was
were
in
talking
that conversation.
People talking about Universe, people talking about AEY, people talking about all these different players who were definitely bigger names at the time, definitely could have fit into this roster, and said it was 33, and they said, you know, it's just because we scrimmed with him, we really liked him, it just seemed to be able to fit well into the team, and you could just see he just exudes skill. Everywhere he goes in this game, I feel like he is easily the best free agent pickup of this entire DPC season, and he is, I think, like 75% of the reason OpTic's doing so well. He is that massive.
Where does CCNC fit into this? Because he's had his critics, and he's had his moments of actually looking really good as well in this team. But again, we talk about consistency with some of the teams. We talked about it with OG and EG and Fnatic. And OpTic kind of fit into that bracket a little bit themselves, don't they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously CCNC has faced a lot of criticism. I think his Lina is one of the best in the world still. And I think he plays your Death Prophets, Dragon Knights, Razors at a high enough skill level to win at a tier 1 level. And the fact that they're able to use those 3 as flex picks right now, he is a good enough player to win a major with this team, for sure.
Well, he's going to have to play well here to win a major. There are only 2 left, this being the penultimate one. And we've got a very quick set of picks so far.
So thank goodness we are now very, very much in the B-style Newbee draft where you're showing a core early. I think Newbee has handicapped themselves so badly in so many of these drafts where they show both of their supports in the first phase, because it's generally a team fight combo and they generally set their lanes up for failure.
Are you still worried about this Naga kind of safety pick? Or
no, look at what FY does on Naga. No, like, yes, I was very worried about Naga Siren until I went and I watched like 6 hours of FY replays on that hero, and you watch how he gets CS moving around the map. This is not a team fight only hero.
I would agree with that. I'm still concerned about the way that Newbee utilized the Naga Siren. I don't feel like they fully utilized it the way that everybody else is. I think they're still kind of stuck in that old era in that regard. I'm a big fan of this Clockwork pickup. I was watching MDL, and it was the hero that I was most interested in because, one, it's a personal favorite of mine, but it also felt like because of the fact that Tusk got nerfed into the ground so heavily, it was just a great replacement, right? It's a 4 position that gives you initiation, doesn't give you the same kind of save mechanism, but it does give you just a lot of tools to work with. And I think it's very strong against some of the heroes that are most popular right now. Unfortunately, Death Prophet is not one of them, and Death Prophet's by far one of the best mids to pick up against a clock, but at the end of the day, you're first picking a 4 position, you're not expecting it to be able to do fantastic work. It's always going to give you something, and that's usually just a free initiation.
Yeah, and I to build on what Cap said, because I really couldn't agree more, you look at so many of the cores right now, these spread damage type cores that like to get out in front, they need to be kind of in the front lines, and Clockwork's potential as a 4 to get in, to isolate that gyrocopter, that Leshrac, get them away from the team, you burst them down, and you win the team fight right there.
So the Disruptor for OpTic, which is it's kind of a block pick, I guess, because we all know that Newbee love that Naga Disruptor combo from old. That really does stretch back to, I don't even know.
Oh, well before Genting.
Yeah, it's well before Genting.
Yeah, it was the combo that arguably won them that tournament, but well before that. I actually, the fact that Newbee are the ones banning PL is very interesting to me, because Mugi's record on that hero is flat out gaudy.
Did you just say gaudy?
I did.
Godlike? It's like a shortened version of Godlike.
No, gaudy. Like, oh my. I'm so old. All right, moving on.
So they're going to be able to take away the Visage. I think Phantom Lancer is also just a scary hero whenever you have this Death Prophet. It's interesting that Leshrac has fallen out of priority so heavily, despite the fact that I think that hero is still quite strong.
Yeah,
but
shown it in the last game.
Yeah, again, I think that once you have the Clockwork on board as OpTic, you're fine with them picking Leshrac, especially core.
I mean, I don't really care if you have a Clockwork. Surely you just still take up Doom here, right? Like,
yes,
Doom is.
But
still
that's
on the
okay.
pool.
So that's the other problem with Newbee, is that they're not a Doom team. They've only picked Doom 5 times in the last since March 1st.
For the life of me, I just can't like. KP is a great player.
Yeah.
Doom is a playmaking hero.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem...
Make some work happen with that.
Yeah, it seems like almost a perfect hero for him, doesn't it?
And it's a great frontliner for certain heroes like Death Prophet to be able to follow up on.
Definitely something they probably need to add to their arsenal, that's for sure.
Yeah, they get this Jakiro, which is probably one of the best laning 5 positions right now. I think Witch Doctor is fallen off a bit in that regard. Jakiro's definitely picked up a lot more pace, and Jakiro's a great dual lane hero as well.
No,
great for towers.
I think Jakiro in some ways has replaced Disruptor in a lot of teams. There is the Leshrac pick by OpTic, and once again, this is a tried and true stratagem where when you have a hero that you feel like is the counter, you're more likely to then pick up the pairing. But Disruptor, you'll see these Jakiros now maxing Ice Path with the Naga, and it feels so good during these constant mid-game engagements.
So, okay, I guess we can kind of see, I still would like the Doom, but we can kind of see why Newbee did not go for that here, and that they just baited out the Leshrac pick. They knew they were going to go for a Nyx Assassin to try and counterpick it.
But now you're locked into core Nyx.
Yeah, you're locked into a potential core Nyx Assassin. They could do the KP Naga Siren.
What's really awkward here, right, is that you're almost locked into core Nyx, and the other team can still shift this Leshrac into the 4 role.
They could. Yeah, they could run this off-lane Clockwork. I'm personally not a big fan of it.
I strongly, in a vacuum, I strongly prefer the 4-position clock, but to me, this is the game where you seriously think about shifting over the Lesh.
I think I still like Leshrac enough just because it's facing up against a Death Prophet.
Okay.
So
you like the lane that heavily?
It's not so much about the laning phase, it's just about the threatening power that you put against this Death Prophet.
Okay.
It's nice to be able to have a hero that matches it as well, to be able to give you like the core that pushes towers, you know?
Sure.
Like, so you're not always made to be able to, if Newbee have better team fight than you, you're not forced into, we have to defend against this Death Prophet push. We can actually just do our own push.
I think that's a good point, because with the rework to Lightning, Leshrac's burst damage output is now so much higher.
Yeah,
than
he's
it used
free
to be.
setup, right?
Yeah.
Crazy hero. So you're probably going to want Clockwork 3 or 4, whatever. You're probably going to want some sort of saving hero, though. You're going to want like a nice frontliner or something like that.
I still like especially in the matchup against the Death Prophet. I still think you can pick Dragon Knight.
Okay.
just go tanky.
Fun couple of stats for you. OpTic haven't won
There you go.
using a clockwork. And we do get a DK, yeah. Haven't won using a clockwork since before 7.11.
OpTic?
No,
Oh, yeah.
since they played with clockwork. And likewise with the Naga Siren since 7.12, Newbee a 37.5% win rate. Which is not good.
That's your stat, huh? Not good. I like that.
Stats don't lie.
Oh, God.
All right,
Someone wise once told me that.
Wait, you can't possibly be talking about me now.
What?
So-
it was an economics professor. They know numbers, right?
Oh, God. Get me out. Get me out of this panel. Interesting to me, too, that newbies still feel like they need the Brood ban. Even given that they've... I think they have a lot. They have, with what they already have, plus a 5th pick, I think they could deal with it. But then, again, you go back to Starladder and you look at how badly OpTic's Brood just destroyed Death Prophets at that tournament.
Yeah, I think if you're a newbie, you'd have to do like a core Naga Siren matched into the Broodmother.
And Core
probably
Naga
one
is
of the-
just, I don't think Core Naga is playable right now. I honestly don't.
If anyone can do it, it'd be KP, wouldn't it?
Yes, but if Miracle couldn't do it in MDL, and Miracle and KP to me for a long time were the two of the three best Core Nagas in the world.
I'm still okay with it just because the 3 position Naga Siren, I should say.
All right, fair enough.
In this situation, because the Spirit Vessel is going to be so important in this game.
That is an excellent point. Okay.
And
I love this OpTic draft. I really do. This is we're gonna be in your face on the enemy side of the map the whole time. When Song is down, how does Newbee defend towers right now? Even with 1 pick to go. Like, you miss 1 Song with this Newbee draft, and I think you're just gonna hemorrhage towers.
yeah, it's a really nice pickup because it's an early BKB core against the Naga Siren into Ice Path. Like, it's always dangerous to be able to have these combination of Ice Path and Nyx Assassin stuns.
If you had to guess, are you still on board with the core Lesh?
Yeah, I think I'm still fine with it. Kind of depends on what Newbee's last pick is here. I'm not sure if they can really outpace
That is
OpTic.
not the hero. It's, man, oh man. It's a hero that I understand why they did it. They're going to lean on their best player to try and carry him through this game. But boy, oh boy, I feel like that Ember, he is going to run face first into this 20 to 25 minute double BKB timing on the OpTic cores.
I'm a little bit concerned about how much they're going to be able to protect that Death Prophet.
Yep.
But it looks kind of like a pretty decent Ember Spirit game, right? They don't have
If he gets online, it's awesome.
They don't have a ton of stun for him. He has this like big burst damage, a lot of magic damage against this DK.
But you don't. The problem I see is that you don't need a ton of stun. Like
Yeah.
Blink Dragon Tail DK is enough to kill the Ember unless he gets mega farmed.
Yeah, especially since he can go like a Shadow Blade or something. Like Ember Spirit's gonna be a little hard pressed to be able to find the farm.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, gents. Let's bring in our commentary team. We've changed things up in the commentary booth as well. Blitz is alongside OD Pixel. Interesting drafts on both sides. Which ones do you fancy, gents?
I don't know. What do you reckon, Blitz? You're the expert here. You sort of a fan of this Ember finisher? Or is this, like the panel said, maybe a bit of a risky pick here against sort of the pressure and sort of group up that the OpTic have?
I think it's sort of a risky pick.
Yeah.
I think I do prefer OpTic's lineup. I feel like you're just going to get run at if you're newbie. And I don't know how you're supposed to stop that. There's like a good amount of nuke damage. It's just a really well-balanced draft.
It's a lot of push as well from the 3 cores in it with the Lesh, the DK and the Luna. That's if they get that sort of momentum, you're just barreling down a lane. And as you say, if you've sort of got this Ember Spirit that's at this point of this game where he's maybe sitting on the early items like the Bolakila bots, it's going to be very hard for him to sort of play his game against that. Sure, I guess you can sort of go for the pressure elsewhere on the side lanes, but are you really going to be able to balance out what sort of OpTic's doing against you as a team?
That was really well said. I'm surprised.
You're surprised. Wow. Thanks, Blitz.
I'm surprised because I genuinely don't think you play any other heroes than Void. So how can you
that's true.
How can you have perspective?
I mean, I've lost, It's all the losing, That's how I lost that game. Doesn't improve my play, but I'll remember it when I
You do
cast.
learn.
You know,
You're
this
just
is,
like,
you know,
man, that
this
crushed me.
works. Oh, did you see that? There was a bit of fair trading there. Zai with the tip for tip. They're doing some of this.
Dude, everyone's tipping each other.
It's a hot market at the moment.
Pycat tipped SCCC. SCCC tipped him back.
All right, these are the interesting connections. You've got to watch out who's tipping who.
Who's tipping? Who's
It's-
winning the tip war right now?
I want to see some in-game tips. That's what we got to see. I want to see a CCNC tip SCCC when SCCC dies to a gang.
Oh, that would
I want
be-
to see some BM tips. That's how you got to play it.
That would be upsetting.
It's pretty triggering. You know, if it happens in your pub games, you know, someone's... Well, I guess it's not because you got a tip. You're like, well, thanks for the points, sucker.
No, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't.
It doesn't feel good.
Not if it's one of the 75. Sure, I'll take like the 100... Or is it to go up to 200? I don't know.
I don't actually
It,
know.
it scales up. The more money you throw at the game, the more points you can give away. It's great. I mean, I threw money. I'm level 1,000.
You're level 1,000?
I'm level. What levels have we got here? Look, there, KP knows what's up. Mugi knows what's up. And SCCC's level 2,000. Look at this boy. He's got the Roshan.
So what about...
He
okay.
saw this year's and he
Did you
couldn't
get
resist
anything good
getting
out
another.
of it?
Huh?
Did you get any good items out of it?
I did not get the PA Immortal.
I got the PA Immortal.
You did? What level are you?
650?
Oh my goodness. I just got a message from Shiva as well. She got the PA Immortal. And I didn't. Gaben, please! Rain down upon me your ultra rares.
That's a sick... I mean, you're never going to be able to use that Immortal.
It's
It's not a Void
sure.
Immortal.
That's true. Where are the Void Immortals? I guess we've got a few already, haven't you? Got like the...
You're going to have to wait for treasure set 2 and 3.
Sure.
Hoping
Exactly.
for a Void Immortal.
There'll be a Void Immortal in one of those, I'm sure. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, Newbee versus OpTic Gaming that we're getting into, and we'll see what happens. So we're going to see the standard 2-1-2s from both sides. Looks to be the case. Is that just what everyone does nowadays? Well, is there any reason not to just run dual lanes?
No, unless you're trying to protect a safe laner that absolutely needs help. But nowadays, like, everybody gets countered by somebody. The only, I would say, like, one meta ago when TB was a thing, I could be okay with you tri-laning TB as
Look
Moogie.
at this. I mean, he got the room, but it cost him his life there. 33 there with the level 1 cogs. And the Disruptor and the Clock getting the kill.
Yeah.
I mean,
One
not
of
two
the-
heroes you expect to do it, especially when you don't take battery cell and you go with the cogs, which was needed there. So it's very smart heads up play. And there's the tip, Zai, making sure that he stays in the roster. Quick tip. Only a 50 tip, though, Zai.
Only 50.
That's, I don't know if PPD is going to like that. Well, that was a level 97.
He got 50 cents.
CCNC level 8. I mean, well, we know he's going to lose mid then. The levels matter.
The levels matter. They scale, dude, in
They
terms of
do.
skill.
So is it, I mean, this is the SCCC, CCNC matchup mid. The linguistic sort of dream.
You got to say it in full in every
Well,
fight. That's the
SCCC,
challenge.
CCNC. It's a lot of C's.
SCCC jumps on CCNC.
It's going to happen. I mean, he's going to be jumping all over the place, SCCC. We'll see how sort of a lane he has here. I mean, again, DK seems to be one of these heroes that just... I can't remember the last time I saw a DK lose a lane. He always has a good time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like the equalizer.
He's such a safe pick.
This bottom lane, though, I think it's really interesting, by the way, that OpTic really like this clockwork. I think it's partially because of the personnel that they have.
Yes.
They're one of the few teams that make it work because 33 is a beast on this hero. He's one of the few players that it seems somewhat effective on, and this bottom lane so far has been very dominant for OpTic because Mugi is he's just forced down.
It's hard for him to sort of do. You can't really harass these heroes. But the 3 mangoes on the clock. You know, 33's there with the regen, with the sustain.
Yeah, and look at this Nyx right now, already out of mana. Not really in a position to help out. Does have mangoes. No, doesn't have a mango actually, but has a stick. Even gets the deny on the range creep. And Mugi, this double wave is going to give a lot of XP to the side of OpTic in this bottom lane. So far so good, at least in the off lane for OpTic. And if we take a look at the other lanes, how everything's going.
A little bit of pressure on Pycat top.
This DK is doing pretty well mid.
5. Should be fine. But yeah, as you say, 13 for 2 in the middle, and he gets the 8 for 0 and edge that.
Seems like a full creep wave ahead when it
He's-
comes to the farm.
He's doing it well with the pre-fire rush. Top lane again. I mean, Pycat's low, and Faith and KP are really trying to harass him. But Zai is there consistently sort of with the stuns, just the split up to make sure that they can't dive too far. But yeah, of course, the sort of the panel touched upon, they sort of saw it coming in the draft, the KP Naga Siren. We've seen great things from this in the past. Do you sort of like this game? I guess where you sort of got the Naga Siren into the setup of the Jakiro, but oh, that focus bottom lane, Mugi. They're just diving him. They hit the level 3, straight in under the tower, 33 and PPD getting aggressive, and they'll get themselves the kill. Diving in, and sort of as you touched upon earlier, not a lot that Kaka can do to stop this as this level 2 Nyx assassin.
What's Kaka supposed to do in this lane? You just kind of stand there, watch your DP get gone on, Death Prophet, much more successful in the mid lane just because of the sheer amount of levels that you get. The trade-off, of course, though, is that this top lane is going pretty well for this Naga.
Yeah.
She's second in CS right now.
KP Naga Siren. But yeah, so do you think they've got sort of enough? Do you like the lineup they have with the Naga, having sort of Naga Jakiro? Is that sort of the big setup that's really like sort of good enough to sort of play off in the team fights?
I think I still prefer OpTic's lineup just because this feels like a very good Luna game. There's no TB on the other side or anything that really inherently threatens her. Like once she gets a BKB, it feels like she's going to be just fine in this game. The other heroes on the side of Newbee, like this Ember Spirit can't really stand front. Doesn't have like the best armor stats. Pretty item dependent in a game like this. Like I could see this game being very quick where OpTic just getting off the heels of this bottom lane. I'd imagine 33 just hits level 6 and just wins the other lanes. And what are you supposed to do if you're Newbee? It's up at top. Ned flies in. Pycat getting low.
This is a very good attempt on Pycat's life here. He's got some one charges, but it will
Fairy
not
Fire.
surely be an... Oh!
Barely gets out.
Okay, and now with the turn, Pycat may have just set up for Zai to finish off the kill. The same time down bottom, though. They'll lose Kaka. They get one OpTic. They're still looking for Faith. Can Zai quite find this? Looks like Faith with the Dukes may just be able to keep himself out of range. Zai can't quite get the vision there for that right click that he needs.
He's got no boots, and Faith does have boots.
He tries for the blind stun.
stun.
He tries for it, but just off the mark. Faith goes for the straight. The sort of the more obvious one, but the less of. You know, you expect him to go upwards because you don't expect sort of the double block.
Yeah. That's the thing about being a professional Dota player. Sometimes you overthink things. Like maybe they went for the double fake back, and he's hiding in these trees. I think it's worth the attempt.
I mean, either way, sort of pushed out the lane. OpTic at the moment, getting the 3 kills on the board. The mid lane matchup still continuing to be very close. CCNC with a, well, very minimal. It's basically even here. 30 for 3 against the 29 for 4.
This is bottom lane, though. That has been quite rough right now. The Death Prophet is starting to pick up some farm, but it still feels like there's quite a lot of pressure. This mid lane. Both mid laners now getting the farm that they want. Is that bottom? Cogs.
Time up top. Look at this, KP. One more touch from Zai with the lightning will do it again. OpTic able to sort of alleviate some of the pressure put onto Pycat's Luna, get the space that he needs to catch up, because he's still a little bit behind in the CS, but Zai is doing a great job on the Lesh in terms of just getting some action that favors OpTic on that top, despite Pycat really being focused down in terms of the pressure that Newbee are applying in the lanes.
This level 6 Dragon Knight gonna get gone on here.
Ooh, triple remnants and the rotations. Is it enough with the chains? It is. They will manage to take down CCNC with pretty much the first movement from this game that we've seen from either side. Kaka and Faith coming in towards the mid. Once SCCC hits the 6, knowing that there will be just enough burst to take the DK out of the lane and allow SCCC to sort of go for more by this week. He's going to head towards the shrine. He will just go back to mid, not looking to help out with the rotation down bottom as of now, with the majority of the remnants still unavailable.
Like that rotation a lot, though. I think that the Dragon Knight was just passively hitting the tower, starting to get it a little bit low.
And look at that.
Bottom lane.
They come straight back with the 2 supports. They're making things happen here for Newbee.
I think the Nyx alone doesn't really do anything.
No, but yeah, between the 2, I got a lot of sort of chase, a lot of sort of focus, and it seems at the moment, really in Dota, with the standard just being these dual lanes, the first rotations are very important because you don't get nearly as much movement early on as when we didn't sort of have this 2-1-2 laning situation. But now it's so big if you can make that first support movement work, and Newbee aced it now.
Man, Owen, just on top of your Dota.
Nah, you just
I know, I wouldn't just say that to you. When have I ever complimented you
all the time.
on your Dota?
You're a nice guy.
Your Dota knowledge? Which is like, I casted like 12 times with you. This is the first time I was like, man, Owen.
Oh, there you go. There's that level 6. Straight in he goes underneath the tower, though. There are 3 heroes here.
That's a lot of heal.
He's gonna live. He's gonna live. 33 overstepped the mark. PPD really wants this. He'll go in with the glimpse to follow up. He gets it. There we go. He says his hashtag
Mega
worth. He says it's worth. Is it worth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're able to slow down the Death Prophet's gap.
That's a lot of XP for PPD. He's almost level 5 already.
Okay. He certainly got him. 5 for 4 at the moment, 8 minutes in. Still very close overall, but getting back to sort of these more stable lanes, we'll see who's to make the next move. I mean, the top lane is definitely that scary. If you're Newbee, you've got to consistently watch out for Pycat. You don't want to give him the space, because if you give Pycat the space, he'll certainly pick up the pace on the Luna. One of those heroes that you forget about for a few minutes, and suddenly she's walking out of the jungle with a BKB.
Kyle said it best, I think. He thought that Pycat was the most important piece to a team like OpTic, where if you give him that free game, he will just go insane. And if you give him the best hero in the game as well, I think in this game, I feel like Luna is the best hero when it comes like to the ultra late game. Once she gets 6 slotted, she's going to be quite strong. At the top,
the lockdown onto Zai. That'll be one. SCCC again getting mobile as he picks up these runes. With the arcane there to make the rotation even easier.
And SCCC is going to get mirrored right now by CCNC. So the Dragon Knight makes his way down to bottom, wants to try to pick up a kill and get that tower at the same time. The tower already at 500 health. Here comes the hook shot.
Very nicely done there for 33. Gets him right past the tower on top of Kaka. And that certainly will be the setup and the kill required to open up OpTic the availability of taking this tier 1, finishing it off, as they had already managed to get it quite low with the pressure that they've been putting on that bottom lane. So that's a good timing on the tier 1 tower against a lineup with the Death Prophet that you could argue would have wanted to sort of get the ball rolling a little bit quicker than they have done so far with Mugi's DP safe lane.
Just a complete mirror as both teams' 4 positions go down and the tier 1s are going to fall. It's going to take a little bit longer for Newbee to take this because they don't have a hero like Dragon Knight that naturally hits this, but it is going to fall nonetheless. PGD dragging this stack over, trying to get his level 6. That's going to be pretty important. Going to be able to kill this Ember Spirit.
Yeah, we're getting 6s on pretty much all the supports now.
Bounty runes.
Did
Newbee get all 4?
I believe they just did. They did. Oh no, OpTic got one. CCC got one.
Okay.
But they got 3 of them. Got 3 of them on Newbee.
Oh, it was a haste rune that movie. So they got 3 out of 4. That's so much gold.
It can make the difference. It really can. Got to watch out for those rune spawns. Understandably so, we are seeing more and more just focus on them with the recent changes. Bottom, Newbee coming in with a smoke play. Faith and SCCC heading down here. They've got their eyes on 33s here with Pycat. Pycat does have the ultimate available. They're going to try and open up onto it straight away, but Pycat, he's out of it. He said, this is a fight we're not taking.
Not isolated.
He's thinking about coming back in. I mean, now that he sees that 33's actually been able to survive and 33's actually been able to get back in with a hook shot, Pycat's able to walk back in and gets the Lucent Beam off. They take out Kaka, so the smoke play from Newbee. Even though it was just against the 2 of them, they couldn't quite do it there.
That's kind of a dick move though, right? By Pycat?
He's like,
He's like, only comes back.
Kill.
He's like, ah, well, this actually might work out. You gotta commit for your friends. That's true loyalty.
Mid lane CCNC continuing to find the farm. Now the quick, oh, he has got it, Will. I'm looking forward to this to see if he can do it. Well, he will do it.
Do what? Sorry.
Yeah, the Meteor Hammer still with the Naga Siren.
Yeah.
You know how if you have the Aquila, you can still do it frame perfect, so you can't BKB on the counter.
Really? With the Aquila?
If you shift it, I believe, 3 times with the toggle on and off, as you take it off, you can still time it. Tick perfect. They do. They got him. So I'm interested to see if KP's. I'm sure he's absolutely got it. He knows what he's doing. We'll definitely see that come into play. Once he has it, and he is of course working towards that. There's going to be a bit of time before he has it finished.
That sounds like some national treasure stuff.
It's national treasure.
If you just flick it on 3 times when the moon hits just right.
That's how it is. But and I don't know. You don't mess it up. You can't mess it up. KP won't mess it up.
Would you mess it up?
I would. I don't play Naga Siren.
But you made it sound so easy.
Oh, it is. for KP. But KP, he's a professional now.
I like how you keep prefacing it. It's very easy. Can't you just edit at that?
I mean,
very
a lot of things are easy, but when you're in sort of the heat of the moment in these high-level games, you know, Newbee versus OpTic, anything can happen.
Okay, okay.
You can, yeah, you just need to be slightly off the mark. Sort of the tension can get to you. We'll see. We'll see what KP can do.
Newbee, 3 heroes here.
I see.
They're going to smoke up. Kaka invised up. Going to scout first.
Let's see what they're coming towards the middle. There are 3 heroes of OpTic here. And PPD actually in prime position to sort of respond. They are going to look towards Pikeout. They really want to make it go. PPD's going to see the rest behind. That's going to stop the heroes getting straight away over to Pikeout. So Pikeout, he's able to back away. PPD will fall. But tanking the gang, Exorcism has been used here as well. OpTic have been able to get Pikeout away from this.
Oh,
Zai
look at what Zai's
that's
doing.
smart. Cuts the creep wave straight away, so it's harder for Mugi to put pressure on. Sure, he can still do it, but he's going to have to tank the tower if he wishes to do so.
Zai going to get run into.
May pay for this as they've got the net set up into the stun. Pikeout, he's watching for the sideline. Can he help Zai out here? Ooh, Zai's actually going to get away. They don't quite have the damage to finish off Zai. Zai will survive. To OpTic, they play it perfectly. They bait around Newbee. Exorcism did absolutely nothing for that first usage.
And I think OpTic, now they want to definitely defend this tower. It's well worth it for them. They didn't really lose anything. That's the role of the 5 position. If you tank that smoke gank, you are perfectly okay with that. Mugi thought there was going to be a much bigger fight because they knew that Pikeout was on the high ground. He's like, I'm going to pop my ult just in case I get stunned and I can't get it off at a later time.
These are sort of a couple of smoke plays that Newbee have attempted for and just haven't really amounted in much at all for them. Sure, they're still farming fine. As you can see, the net worth on all cores still looking very, very good. And eventually they will have the big song set up from KP. Still a little bit of time there on his first big item. SCCC, though, he's got the money for the relic. It's going to be a very respectable timing on his Radiance this game that he's going for on Ember Spirit.
I think it's going to be a really nice pickup for them, too.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of damage. Makes him just really annoying to play against as a whole. Second most last hits in the game. Haven't really been focused whatsoever. Bounty runes now spawning. Kaka gonna grab the bottom ones. Just gonna get for the trade. OpTic grab their own bounties. This time around it is 50-50. And they're gonna start pinging out Zai. They know the illusion has scouted out deeper into their jungle. KP has the ult available.
CCNC popping the outer dragon form so we can just sort of alleviate the pressure on this mid lane.
Already up to level 12.
Yeah, and with the sort of the farm he's been having as well, CCNC, he's going to be hitting the BKB at sort of a similar time, maybe just a little later than SCCC finishes off the Radiance. So he's going to be very tanky in these fights. He's very easily able to get in with the blink, get on a target, and Newbee can't really do much to stop a BKB high-level DK at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly powerful. Most of their damage, if you look at their lineup, just magic. Not really going to affect this DK whatsoever. Same with the Radiance. The burn, the mischance, none of it is really going to bother him too much, as now he's going to walk up very aggressively. They want to try to grab this tier 1 tower finally. But in fact, Newbee all at bottom. Zai's going to be the target here.
An OpTic Heart. They've got 33. They've got a fair few of them. In fact, 33 is going to look to lead in straight away with a hook shot onto KP. They'll turn around Faith with the Ice Path, trying to hold back 33, and that'll allow KP to survive. They turn with the root. They've got the control. They'll be able to take down 33's Clockwork. See if they can get anything more. Kaka comes in. Zai turns with the stun. He got the spike carapace out in time, but still not enough to sort of set up onto Zai for the rest of the team. So they'll get everybody else out of them. So they do lose one. Again, this is the usage of the Ghost. So as long as OpTic can sort of stop Mugi from getting a tier 1 tower mid, it's not the most effective use of the ult. But we'll see if they're able to finish it off, because they have got the chance to get the Ice Path from the side, Newbee. At the same time, PPD just coming straight away with the Static Storm. He's just taking out KP, and here's the ult. Looking to move in. Spike Carapace from Kaka will hold him back. They get the vision for the glimpse, dragging back Faith. They've taken down Jakira. CCNC with a Breathe Fire, forcing back Kaka. The tower will fall.
Look at that Nyx, 50 HP, has to walk away. Mugi doesn't have the ult either. With the Arcane Rune here, CCNC might just grab it, pop his ult. Go for the aggression themselves, and this mid-tier 1 tower is going to be very important for this. But it looks like OpTic, they're loath to go for this, and in fact, they're just going to split up and continue to farm. CCNC popped the ult as if they were going to go for the push. And
They did. He popped it
just
straight
disengaged.
away. And well, heading down bottom, I mean, the tier 1's already been taken there, so no, he's not going to get any sort of tower of sorts with that use of the ult.
They're going to get a lot of farm out of this time, though.
Sure, I mean, yeah, look at Pycat's Luna already. He's catching up. He's down to top 3, top lane. Very nice setup from Kaka. Allows the ice path from Faith to come through onto Zai. Give themselves another pick off onto one of the supports of OpTic.
Still feels a little bit, I don't know, Like, do you really mind that death if you're Zai? 4 positions never mind deaths like that. Like, when you rotate more than 2 heroes to kill a support, he's not DJ's Wisp or anything like that.
Newbee getting a little more confident now with the way that they're pushing in. The Radiant's done on SCCC. The hammer's nearly out for KP as well, so they're getting these components together that's going to allow them to take these fights, and there it is. So KP has the hammer, he's got the song.
The very easy to hit hammer.
The very, if you know what you're doing with the Aquila, and he absolutely will toggle that Aquila 3 times and go for it.
So I know you're going to be watching.
I'm watching that Aquila. Oh,
Here we go.
CCC's trading with the newly found BKB, immediately gets the lockdown onto SCCC. That's the Ember Spirit gone for now.
Been caught too.
They're looking for more out of this. Kaka will get himself away with a Vendetta, but no, the Dust, the Vision, they've got him. PPD drags him back with the Glimpse. They'll get themselves a second. There's going to be a buyback from SCCC.
He's in the thick of things right now.
And look at that. The timing, the placement, it's perfect. And he did toggle the Aquila. It's off at the moment. He did it. He knows what he's doing, KP. The perfect timing. You can't escape it. They get 2 kills. They do get the tier 2 tower out of it. It's all they needed. It works.
It was indeed very easy for him.
It was easy. Another day in the office for KP there on his Nagasara.
Oh, they might get a kill out of this, though. SCCC.
It's pretty scary. I'm sure SCCC bought back for this, but this is... What he's doing?
He's dead.
If he doesn't die, but he died.
He's dead.
Oh, it's definitely not worth it. SCCC dying there.
Another day at the office.
Yeah, for SC. Oh my goodness, he's gone. SCCC down for 50
He's got the glimpse.
He's going for it. Good.
He's got it. Who else is coming, though? Nobody.
Just right-clicking.
He will lose that fight, though.
He may be dead.
He will definitely lose that. He's dead now.
He's glimpsed himself. Oh, Zai. Oh no, the backup's there. Zai's in. And now Faith, he's the one that's got to run. PPD's coming back in. This guy. He's not scared of anything at all. I mean, sure, Faith will get out, but Kaka will not be as lucky as PPD. He sort of baits them in, gets them a kill.
That was so weird. Nobody came to help him for such a long time. Ah, that was great. SCCC dying twice.
That's, yeah, painful
Really
setback
slows
for him.
down his game.
Yeah. He was in, I mean, he's still very much up there at the top 4, but suddenly it's Pycat at CCNC leading the charge. And as we said, yeah, Pycat on his Luna, we've already seen the momentum that he's had, because he was behind at the start. He was getting pressed in the lane, and suddenly he's top net worth. It's very likely that this is going to be a game where he just continues to zoom up and up and up. They have to do something about this Luna. They can't continue to give Pycat space.
And once he gets that BKB, he's going to be a terror in this game. That top play, 33's clockwork, he just sat inside. He's like, I'm going to win this fight.
He's doing a lot with that blade mail. He is. And he's going for the hood next, of course. It's going to be a tanky, beefy clock. And this is sort of one of the benefits that we're seeing from this meta where we have 2-1-2s is the offlaners, they just get more farm. You know, we're certainly seeing these games where, you know, KP this game and 33, they're in a great position because they have that security in the lane. So much more sort of balanced spread of net worth between all cores.
Mid lane.
Another pickoff. 33 with the BM hook shot.
Was it BM? I think he was trying to get more kills. The BM would have been tipping right there.
We haven't seen any BM tips.
I know you want that tip.
I'm looking forward to the tips.
Oh, that would be, I would be really upset if that happened to me.
If someone's it.
Especially in a pro game, I would actually genuinely bother me a lot.
It could be game defined.
At bottom, Kaka, he's just gonna run away. But OpTic, they've got the BKB completed on this Luna.
I mean, this is the push we talked about. Well, between their 3 cores, between a Leshrac, a Luna, and a DK, if they're given the space, they can barrel down towers. And sure, what the CCNC, he's relying on having the ult, but the other 2, they don't need sort of those long cooldowns. You look at the push of Newbee, a lot of it is reliant on having the exorcism. I say that, it's also the creeps are getting away with the free push up top. They are starting to tickle away at the tier 3 tower. Pycat will come in to quickly push them back.
Part of the problem too for Newbee is,
look at this.
When you start the fight, you have to be very aggressive. Like, you have to be on OpTic's side of the map because you don't have these cores that naturally hit towers, which is why I think they picked the Jakiro to pair with the DP. So they have something that isn't so heavily reliant on that.
Oh, look at
CCNC
this.
is in the middle of things.
Straight in they go. They managed to find Moogie. They will lose Zai, but OpTic there in the pit. KP looking for the timing. Bam. Ooh, he's not actually going to get it there. So he messes it up, and now he's going to pay with his life. As OpTic turns towards him, take a second.
Now
And
Roshan is so low.
they're going to get it free and easy there, OpTic Gaming. Killing off to unless SCCC wants to go for a quick play, but he's not going to go for it.
And look at PPD right now. He's trying to
Look at
find
this.
somebody with the glimpse.
Oh, it was a mini glimpse, but it was good enough. They've got the vision for the Thunder Strike. Faith getting surrounded as well. OpTic getting 3 kills. Roshan and an Aegis. I mean, Newbee, they went into the pit. They were attempting for this. It was always going to be hard. OpTic already had the edge in terms of net worth and fighting potential. Sure, they had the song, but
BKB, man.
he didn't get it out. He didn't get the stun out onto the two of them.
If you think if he gets that stun off, they win that fight? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
I think they still just
we
get
like
red
to
out.
make it close.
Once Moogie
They were
popped his
screwed.
ult. Yeah, once Moogie popped his ult and he died,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, well, there goes the fight.
Yeah. And 33 on his clock. He's always going to know the right time to get in the pit.
Look at CCNC right now. He's level 17. He just gets into the middle of everything.
I mean, both of their cores are just so big. The BKB and the Dragon Lance on the Luna. This is a lot of beef that it's very hard for the cores of Newbee to cut through. You have this bots Radiance Ember, which, sure, the Radiance was still got a good time for SCCC, but as we said, sort of the pace that he's playing with this item build, it's sort of just getting outmatched by what OpTic have on their cores. It just doesn't, the maths doesn't check out in favor of the Ember.
I think the top play really hurt him the most. When he went for that dieback, he was in a really comfortable position, dying twice. And he was the highest level on his team. That gives up so much, especially to the supports on the side of OpTic. Like, that's what's enabled PPD, who's level 14 in this game right now, Owen.
Yeah, he's loving it. Yeah, same as 33 on the core clock.
All the supports right now on the side of OpTic feel very good. Because if you look at Kaka right now, level 12 with trying to get this Yules.
Kaka's been spotted.
Yep.
They've got the dust on him. Instantly with the sentry down. They knew someone was about. And they'll catch him out again. It really just, I mean, from the laning to sort of this mid-game, it's just a very hard game to have an impact on the Nyx Assassin. Despite Carapace and such, just not really been anything more than just a mild annoyance at the start of the fights.
He just can't get into the thick of things. OpTic just go for these pushes and the Nyx just watches. They're just sitting there. It's like, okay, well, guys, they're pushing. Thanks for the info. It's very useful. So now OpTic, I think you go for 2 towers here. And they're being greedy here by showing CCNC mid, but I think they feel far enough ahead that they don't really care too much. This Ember Spirit gonna go for this bottom rune. CCNC gets the stun off.
It's a full butterfly on a Pycat now.
That is a really farm Luna, and that's what we said.
Very fast Pycat.
It's a free Luna game.
He has certainly been one to impress on sort of his run with OpTic. And I think one of the players as well, at sort of the very start of the putting together OpTic, questions were always asked. Because Pycat, he'd been on a lot of sort of those rosters where it just never really worked out. But
Yeah.
I think, I don't know what it is about this team, maybe the fact that he's sort of, maybe it doesn't sort of have the pressure on him to sort of captain because of the people besides him. He's just been given a lot of space to perform, and at times he certainly looked like one of the strongest carriers in the game.
I think part of it too is like the way that the other 2 cores work around him. They create a lot of space for him. The way that CCNC and 33 play, it's very self-sacrificial, but hook shot comes in.
Straight in and across onto Faith. Faith's not going to have a chance to do anything in this fight, and now the rest of Newbee in a bit of disarray as well. Trying to get out there. Oh, look at the turn, Moogie. Comes in with the X's, and they have managed to surround Pycat. They'll take him down once. He's holding onto the BKB for his second life. Because OpTic, they'll want to continue to fight here. Put the BKB in straight away. At the ultimate, looking towards Moogie, punching him. Moogie's got to use himself up, but he's just taking so much damage from the right clicks. The Butterfly and Luna doing 2 by CCNC with a double kill. Jumps over with a blink to pick up the triple as he gets KP as well. Caught out by 33. They just can't take a fight at this stage of the game, Newbee.
Now they're going to transition this into the push. Gets the glimpse back, but SCCC with a very good timing back into his Remnant. And with no creeps available, it looks like they're going to disengage off of this. Everyone's starting to respawn pretty soon. But more and more of a lead for OpTic as this game continues to press forward in their favor.
It really, I don't know if, I mean, would you say, you know, the draft, would you say the draft did heavily favor OpTic from the start? There was a definite sort of draft advantage.
I mean, we both agreed, right?
Yeah.
We liked OpTic's lineup. It looked very balanced. This Ember last pick, yes, it's a little bit flashy. It's the type of hero that SCCC likes to play, but there's a lot of burden on him.
I mean, that's the thing. And do you like the fact that he did go for the Rangers? Because you're against these two cores, you know that they're going to get the BKB. You know that the Luna especially is going to be able to farm it very quickly. Sure, CCNC probably got the BKB a little quick on the DK than you'd expected, but the Radiance is not... It's not going to sort of help you in these sort of fights when sort of the group up and go is there. I mean,
I think it scales really well when it comes like later and later into the game. It helps him farm, but I would almost completely agree with you. Because when it comes to the actual team fights, what have we seen this Ember Spirit do? He doesn't deal enough damage where he scares either the supports on the side of OpTic. They've got a Eul Scepter on Zai, he can just pop that himself. It's just a really weird position for him to be in. So they're gonna run into this Jakiro once again.
Again, quick setup there with the Euls. The rest of the team are gonna leave Zai to it. They know Zai's got that one on his own.
They're pinging right now. They see Kaka. Oh, hook shot.
Hook shots into CCNC's big ass there. All right, blocking the way on the DK.
That's where you tip your teammate.
He's a chunky boy.
They might just go into a push though, without the Jakiro up.
I mean, they know that they've got a good chance of getting away with it. I believe that's Pike had about 1,200 away from having a full Satanic, sort of coming up to this 30-minute mark that he'll probably hit if he's able to get that final bit of farm.
Trying to go for it. Oh, PPD.
Top lane as well. SCCC was putting a bit of pressure on, but indeed PPD, I mean, he's been absolutely on point with the sentries each and every time. They've always, they just seem to know, they're in Kaka's head. They know where he's going, they know what he's doing. He just cannot sneak around anywhere at all on this map.
This must feel miserable for Kaka to play. It's like, what kind of impact have we seen this Nyx play so far? He's 2-9-4. He's died so many times. The return on investment for those wards must be excellent for them right now on the side of OpTic. They got the gem now completed on this DK. They know that how the fight starts is the most important thing, and they've neutralized half of it. If you can't have this Nyx just walking around scouting things out, it puts you in a position where you just have to play really defensively.
And it just, in terms of sort of the damage output of Newbee, there's just no way that they can get any sort of comparable damage out at the same rate that a hero like Pykatsuna has at this stage of the game. It's in sort of the team fights, there's like the Exorcism, the Burden, the Jakiro, all sort of slow damage over time. There's no sort of wham bam, that hero's out of the fight from OpTic.
Yeah, issue being, of course, that Mugi just doesn't have a lot of fun. So when he does pop that Exorcism, he just ends up going down very quickly. As
they just pick off the Jakiro. 33's got his eyes on KP. And with the Battery Assault, very hard for KP to do much in response. I mean, he can try and go for the song play, and he will make it away. But again, that's a song for retreat. It's not going to be a song that they can use to sort of stop a push. Now, OpTic can very well say, let's go for it. We'll see if they want to wait for Roshan. Could potentially be up very shortly. But either way, I mean, 11k lead at 30 minutes in. It's just been OpTic on the up and up.
Mid lane again. They want to try to make this move on a Kaka. Aeon Disc is popped. SCCC is here. He's going to get the roots off. Onto Zai.
That glimpse is going to save Zai, though. Beautifully played there by PPD, peeling SCCC away from Zai, and now...
isolating him. He doesn't have a remnant out.
Oh, he's trying to slowly get himself away.
He barely went down.
He's got Remnant back in 5 seconds. The right clicks, is he going to be able to find it? They've got the vision there with the rocket flare. The right clicks, SCCC can't quite survive, though. The glaives bouncing about. Pycat will finish him off. Mugi now trying to turn the tides there with the BKB and the Exorcism. CCNC is hunting down KP, picks him off at his side. Newbee, can they get anything out of this again? Another glimpse from PPD, taking Mugi away from 33. 33 pretty beefy with this hood. CCNC's able to sweep back over. And Newbee, they're just broken, absolutely all over the place. That was not an attempt at a fight. That was just an entire mess from Newbee. They just can't take a single fight this game. I mean, sure, you could sort of say it's down to the draft, but this game from sort of the 15-minute mark onwards, it just looked impossible to play from
Look at that
standpoint. There it is.
KP gave CCNC the well played.
I mean, this is almost certainly game over here. They're just going for the tier 4s with the Butterfly and Pycat. He makes short work of these buildings. OpTic Gaming looking incredibly clean here in this first best of 1 for them as they will take down Newbee. I mean, there really wasn't much to sort of question that game from OpTic's performance there. The draft was pretty much perfect in sort of response to what Newbee did. They played it perfectly, and Newbee, they seemed absolutely lost in that game.
Yeah, they're wasn't a point in this game that I was worried for OpTic. From the get-go, the laning phase on, the bottom lane went disastrously for Newbee. Kaka was not able to have any sort of impact in this game. SECC, I mean, he was off to a very good start, but it just felt like he fizzled out so quickly after that top engagement.
I mean, yeah, that Newbee understandably there looking a little bit broken. Not the kind of performance at all that they would hope to turn up to this major with. They've got to pick it up as they will be knocked down. But OpTic Gaming coming in with all guns a-blazing. Perfect draft, perfect play from them as they will take this best-of-1 series. Over to you, Paul.
Yes, thank you very much, OD Pixel. And of course, as he rightly says, a very good victory for OG, a very comprehensive victory, Alan, over a team that we expected more from in the form of Newbee. And I feel like we've said this time and time again, it's just the same old story comes round and round and round again. Same old pick, same old style. They've got to change, haven't they?
I just, it's actually getting a little triggering watching the team right now because I feel like the rest of China watched what they did against Liquid in that series at Genting and said, God, if we play around these BKB timings, we can beat so much of what the Western teams are doing right now. And Newbee are just constantly getting beat by that now. It's this game. There was almost nothing that Newbee could have done about this mid-20s BKB timings on the cores of OpTic, exactly as we said in the draft.
I just want to draw attention to this point as well. It's 15-11 score-wise right now, and it got worse from here on.
It was 14-11 at 20 minutes, and it was 17-2 in the 12 minutes after that.
Yeah, which is just insane. I mean, you can't lose that. If there's one bright spot, Cap, is it that they did start okay?
I guess.
No. I'm trying here. I'm trying to help out the Newbee fans by just giving them something to clutch onto, because there's not much out of that game we can talk that's good, is there?
You know how, like, Naga Siren we used to say at ESL One Genting? It was like, guys, like, ban the Naga Siren. Ban it against Newbee.
Yeah.
These teams, my best advice, and they're facing
Let them pick it.
Let the Naga Siren
Please
go,
pick
guys.
Naga.
Because they're not going to play it the same way that other teams do, right? Like, look at the way they drafted this. Like, do you think this is the Naga Siren that is running around, like, bullying people and, like, farming and like, just being a generally strong laning fight support? No, this is we're going to use Song and get Nyx Assassin stun and Ice Path and Macro Pyre.
I mean, mate, I didn't want to be too rude here, but this looked like you were playing in the Naga.
Ah, thank you.
Oh my God.
My Naga Siren is excellent. But the thing is,
you get off at least 2
Naga
songs
Siren,
a game.
Meteor Hammer. Yeah, the thing is like Naga Siren, I don't feel like this hero is based around sleep as much as it used to be. These other Naga Sirens that are running it are not trying to play it that way. And just one more thing, one more reason to not have the Naga Siren be based around this sleep mechanic and trying to build everything around it is that BKBs beat you out, especially as a solo hero when you try and go Meteor Hammer. That Roshan fight is very much determined in part by the fact that you have BKBs to be able to run to the Roshan pit, and you also just pop BKB on Luna before the Meteor Hammer hits you after that sleep combo. Like,
I feel like it's
ignore the entirety of the hero.
I feel like it's a cheap shot now, talking about how bad Newbee were in that game, because we've done it so many times. So why don't we switch over and talk about the positive things of OG?
But let me answer a question that you asked to Cap just a second ago, though, Paul, because you asked for a bright spot for Newbee. Okay, the bright spot for Newbee is that you've got players 1 through 5 that are still all of them in the top 10 in their position, maybe top 5 in the world. These guys, in terms of what they can do in a game of Dota, are gods. There is no reason that they should be playing Dota this way. They need a coaching change. They need a style change.
Yeah, or just a coach.
OpTic looks great.
Yeah, let's just be more positive, guys. Let's return it back to happy times now and talk about how good OpTic were in that game.
Yeah. They drafted themselves very well. Again, we talked about the previous OG in the last series and how they've just been kind of grinding. They've been looking better and better. OpTic, it feels like they actually took that leap early on, right? We had the Star Ladder where they looked so good. I feel like watching their draft, they very much deeply understood the meta. They understood what happened at MDL. They understood the picks there. First pick up Clockwork. You have these 3 cores that transitioning the Clockwork into a core actually worked out great that game, because look at the heroes that Newbee drafted. Naga Siren, Jakiro, Nyx Assassin. They're all pretty bad against this Clockwork, so it just made value to make him a core pickup. And Dragonite, Luna, 2 BKB cores that give you a lot of tower pressure and be able to secure your Roshan. It feels like they totally understood what they should be doing right now.
Yeah, it kind of bodes well for OpTic going through the rest of this tournament now.
You look at, again, I look at that draft, and you look at 33 and what he can threaten in that draft. He can play a traditional initiating offlaner like a Clockwork. You can switch him over onto a farming offlane Leshrac, and Newbee even felt that they had to use their 6-man on a Broodmother. That kind of versatility, especially at the offlane position, is just so difficult to draft against.
It is indeed. We're going to move on. Our winners' matches are just around the corner. We've still got plenty more action for you on both streams, it might be said as well. We'll show you the schedule for both of those streams coming up, with 6 more matches to come today. And all of these ones are moving on to best of 3s. Next up for us, though, it is time to return to Group A and, of course, the winners' matches. And it's coming up after the break.
3 times and go for it.
So I know you're going to be watching.
I'm watching that Aquila.
Here we go.
CCC's trading with the newly found BKB, immediately gets the lockdown onto SCCC. That's the Ember Spirit gone for now.
Been caught too.
They're looking for more out of this. Kaka will get himself away with a Vendetta, but no, the Dust, the Vision, they've got him. PPD drags him back with the Glimpse. They'll get themselves second. There's going to be a buyback from SCCC.
He's in the thick of things right now.
Oh, and look at that. The timing, the placement, it's perfect. And he did toggle the Aquila. It's off at the moment. He did it. He knows what he's doing, KP. The perfect timing. You can't escape it.